Hello guys, welcome to my Breath of Hope podcast. Hope you love my new space. It's giving all the me and all giving. Let's move right into the meat of the matter. Today, I want to be a gossiper. I want to gossip, small talks. I want to talk about the father of all nations. And no, I don't mean Ned, I mean Tuface. Now, I want to talk about Tuface and Annie and the whole issue that's surrounding it. People have been attacking Tuface. Calling him a groomer, saying he used her and dumped her. Saying all sorts. And I'm here to, rather than point fingers, I'm here to, draw out some lessons that we can all learn. Okay, because when love is sweetening you, it is doing you. Later, you'll not be crying, you'll not be cursing. But the truth is that there are always signs, okay? There are always signs, there are always things that, you could have spotted from the beginning. There are always preventive measures. And so, looking at the whole Tuface, Idibia, and the Macaulay saga, what are the things that we can learn? Number one, the first thing that we can learn is the lack of parental guidance, and this is what I mean. So from the story, I heard that Tuface started dating her or something. I don't know. I think from when she was 15. That's the news. And rather than, when you hear things like that, rather than pointing fingers at the perpetrator, which you must, there's also someone in a subtle manner that you must also make reference to, and it's the parents. So I don't know why you're a parent and your child is 15, 14, and your child is dating somebody in his 20s, except you are dead. Except you're dead. I think there is no excuse for that. And so parents must learn to have a closer relationship with their child. Now, this is what I mean. Most of us, when we grew up, I think the kind of relationship that we had with our parents was one that they seemed like they were far away. So what that means is that something can be happening, and instead of, somebody can molest you, and instead of going to go and tell your parents, you are scared that your parents will be judgmental or you will enter trouble. And not necessarily because that is true, but that was just the perception that you had of your parents. So what that means is that parents must do a better job in ensuring that they build the kind of atmosphere that makes their children comfortable to run to them if there's anything wrong. This is what I think. Any parent that has a child, and when the child enters trouble, the child always wants to defer to outsiders for help before coming home. Then I think that to a certain extent, that parent has failed in their duties. And for this case, it wasn't like, it was against her will at that age, but I just think that there is a level of involvement that a parent must have in a child's life, that certain things must be caught, certain things must be obvious. And I think that that's the first lesson to draw, that as a parent, it is your responsibility to know whatever relationship, that's your child, first of all, your child should not even be in a relationship at 15. But if by mistake your child is in a relationship at that age, you must catch it and not let it spring up for so long. So that's the first lesson to learn. The second lesson is this. It is true, because I've seen a lot of tweets that Tuface groomed her, Tuface is a villain, Tuface is this, Tuface is that. First of all, I don't necessarily believe that, because I believe that whenever a divorce happens in every marriage, the general rule is that there isn't just one bad person. Now, I always give, a middle ground. I always give an exception where I say, except the person was beating you and you had to run for your life or something, then I can concede that person was the sole monster. But in every divorce, on a general rule case, in every divorce, there isn't necessarily just a bad person. It's just two people that just couldn't make it work. There isn't like a saint and a villain. It's just two bad people, two villains, right? Of course, again, I consider that there are cases whereby it could be that there is, someone that is the main villain. But in a case like this, you can't just say he's the villain. She also had, her parts. She had her grievances in the issue. And so this is what I think. When he met her, yes, I can concede that she was a minor. I concede that totally. And he groomed her, I can concede. But you also have to consider the fact that I think she is now 40 or 41. She's now 41. So she started being an adult at age 18. That means that she had 18 years as a minor, okay? And she has had about 22, 23 years as an adult. This means that she has had more years being an adult than being a minor. Now, what this essentially means is that at some point in your life, you have to stop claiming victim and start taking responsibility for your life. Now, the reason why I say this is because it's a different thing if maybe she got her first child for him at 17, 18, 19, okay? But in a case whereby the person that you were dating from age 15, you guys broke up for a while, you know, and he then went on, I don't know if you guys were together after he broke up, but he then went on to have like 5 different children, none of which were yours. And then you still came back as a matured person, having your frontal lobe fully developed. Everything was fully developed in you. You still went back into that marriage, or you went back into that relationship and it resulted in a marriage. I think that at some point in time, you need to start taking responsibility. Okay? Yes, he groomed you, but at some point, because the truth of the matter is that everybody has a valid excuse, a justifiable excuse for mistakes that they've made or bad decisions that they've made. So what this means is that if we must validate one, we must validate every other person's mistake, every other person's excuses. We must validate every other person's own. And so I think that everyone is a victim at some point in life. And so it's a call for us to now leave the position of victimhood to actively find wholeness, to actively begin to chase our healing, all right? Because a lot of Nigerians claim towards the victim part, right? And they don't want to take responsibility for whatever was done to them and grow out of it. So yes, you were groomed, but what did you do intentionally to snap and grow out of it? Did you do therapy? What kind of things did you do? Which leads me to my last point. Find yourself before you find love. Now, what this means is, romantic love is one of the highest expressions of emotional entanglement that you'll ever be involved in. In fact, the amount of emotional decisions that would lead to compromises is way significant in your dating relationship and marriage, you know, when you compare it to among your friends, among your parents, among your siblings. That's the highest. That's the one that would involve the most compromises. That's the one where, you know when they say that love is blind. I don't know if any of you has ever had this friend where you're always trying to advise. It will look like they're listening to you. You're trying to warn them about that bad boyfriend, that guy that always hits them or does some cheats on them. It will look like they are listening to you. Then after like 2 or 3 days, after he has pressed the mumu button, bought her flowers or taken her somewhere, giving her a good gift, and then she will now be like, I believe he can change. A person in love does not listen. So it's now worse when this person in love doesn't have self-confidence, doesn't have a sense of worth. What that means is that because you don't have a sense of worth, you're going to want to cling more to the object of your attraction to gain a sense of worth. So you know how all of these people that used to be in university back then, I mean when I was in university back then, it was Blackberry Boat 5 that was raining. And so there are people that ladies that didn't have worth, that whenever they buy Blackberry Boat 5, there's this white one that they will hold. We'll make sure that whenever they are walking, that everything is showing, everyone can see it. Something like that. So that's what people who lack self-worth do. People who lack self-confidence. When people lack self-worth and self-confidence, they tend to cling onto the thing that is the object of their passion to gain a sense of worth from it. What this now means is that there's a level of maltreatment that you give to them that they just keep enduring. They keep enduring. They keep enduring. They keep enduring. Why? Because letting you go is them facing the reality of the emptiness that they feel. So they rather distract themselves with you so that they can cling on to something that makes them, just basically just take away the focus of how they feel inside. And so before you find love, you must find yourself. There's a lady that said something that I very much disagree with. She said that love is when two halves become a whole, two broken people, or two halves or whatever become a whole. I disagree with that. This is what love is. Love is when two whole people that have a sense of purpose and direction in life come together based on a certain level of compatibility towards achieving that purpose without them having to compromise too much to deviate away from that purpose. That's what love should feel like. Two whole people who have certain goals in mind coming together. That's what it should feel like. And so for a person who, probably didn't find herself or was still searching for herself, because the reason why I'm coming to that conclusion is you cannot convince me that a man had like 2 or 3 baby mamas before he met you, had like 5 children for them, and you were the one that he knew before he blew. When he blew, he left you. He went with other people, impregnated them, and these are the ones that we now know about. The ones he impregnated, because we can see the evidence, obviously. Those are the ones we know about. What of the ones that he did not impregnate? So it means that he had his fool, had his fun, and then when he was done, was like, okay, let me pity this one. And this is this is not an attack to her. This is just me pointing it out as it is. And then he said, okay, let me get this one. And you came back. You can't convince me that you have any sense of self-worth. And then I think the whole buzz around it was that she's the patient one. She suffered with him. She has won the award. He's the prize. And so anybody that settles for that, to me, you don't have, like, you can do better on your worth and confidence. And so it's very important for you to have a sense of worth before you find love. Find yourself before you find love, because that will determine the nonsense that you're willing to take. So these are the 3 lessons that I have, nothing much. 3 lessons. Number 1, parents, be very mindful. Be close to your children, have a good relationship with your children, and always be vigilant to ensure that there are no predators in their life. 2, everyone is a victim or has been a victim of something at some point. You cannot claim that, oh, I'm a victim, and you stay your victim. Grow out of it. Find ways to grow out of it. At some point in your life, you must take responsibility for your life. And 3, find yourself before you find love, because that will determine the kind of nonsense that you will take and you will not take. Hope this helps somebody. Share, like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It helps a lot. Helps more than you know. Thank you so much for your time. Bye, guys.